been a history buff, always loved this country, hence joining the United States Marine Corps, always even loved politics. I just never wanted to be a politician. Got out of the Marine Corps in August of '04, was down here managing construction projects, met my wife, married her, and then all of a sudden Barack Obama was the nominee for president for the Democrats. And started reading who he read, Saul Alinsky and others. Started looking into his background, started looking at videos of the pastor kids, and really got pretty concerned. And so off of that came even more reading for me on the other side, on the conservative side, what I already believed in. Started digging in even more to people like Milton Friedman, Mark Levin, Thomas Sowell, the great writers that talk about economics, talk about other things. And so I already had a love of this country, and off of that, I just started to find out more about it. I always said to be a conservative, it's only a two-step process. It's acknowledging that America is great, and then finding out why America is great. And so I went from knowing that to finding out really why. And after the election of this president, sitting there watching him rip through the Constitution and just completely shred this country, my wife and I, we sat down, felt called to do something, started talking about it, started praying about it, and we made the decision. You know, you can sit and yell at the news, you can get off your rear end and go do something about it. So to go to do something about it meant running for office. And what I believe in is the Constitution of the United States. I believe that we have rights in this country, natural rights that are not given by the government, they are given by God himself on high. And what God has given us, no one can take away. And the founders believe that too. And when they talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Barack Obama doesn't have any right to take that away from anybody. No man does. And the founders believe that no man had a right to trample on people, and that's what I believe. I believe that America is amazing. I believe we have the infrastructure to be, once again, the greatest economy, most robust economy in the world overnight. And I know that actually for a fact. Our economy is still 3 times larger than China's. We have the most hardworking, enterprising public. We are ready to get back to work and put food on our table if we get the government out of the way and out of our lives, the American people, 300 million Americans can move it. I also believe that even the thought of the federal government telling you what kind of medical treatments you can and can't receive, that happens in other places. That happens in some third world country that you read about. That doesn't happen here. This is America. I'll buy any kind of pharmaceutical drug I feel like to help my mother, to help my sister, to help anybody I want. By the way, my sister's here tonight, Mickey Kelly down here in the front. Abraham Lincoln had an outstanding quote, and I have to learn this quote down because it really was a great one, and I'm about to massacre it, so I'm not even going to try to say it exactly right. But he said, all proclaim for liberty. You'll hear Gabrielle Giffords and Barack Obama use the word. All proclaim for liberty, but in saying it, all do not mean the same thing. For some of us, liberty means the right to live as you please, to have your labor, your private property. And for others, liberty means you have the right to others' labor and others' private property. And that's what we're up against. There is a dividing line in this country, and we talk about the politics of division, and we should be coming together. Well, the problem is that gangsters who believe the government should do anything they want to you are in charge right now. And the rest of us are getting pounded on because of it. They have drawn a line, and it's time to fight these people. That's why I use words like battle and fight. It's not a playground, it's a battleground, and we better go into it as such, because this country's in trouble right now because of this. With that, sir, I ask you to vote for Rick.
I'd like to see you condense that into a 30-second commercial.
He asked if I could condense that into a 30-second commercial. We'll work on that, sir. I'll talk really fast. Sir?
Yeah, the education system now, they're not teaching kids in history. They're teaching liberal education. And what can we do about that?
Well, he asked about the education system. He said they're not teaching them education, they're teaching them liberal education. Well, I have to be honest. As your federal representative, as your congressional representative, my mission when it comes to education will be to get the federal government out of education. That is my this centralizing control of our education system is certainly not doing our kids any favors. 50% of kids that graduate and are going to college can't locate the state of New York on an unmarked map of the United States of America. I don't think Nancy Pelosi knows how to educate my son, quite frankly. So we're going to take it out of the hands of the government. That will be my goal. That will be my mission. Because I have 2 boys, one of which may not even get into school the way it looks at this point. That's my 2-year-old. Now he'll be fine. But that is my goal, sir.
A question.
Yes, sir.
Concerning Green Valley people, I think very importantly, your position on Rosemont
Yes,
and
sir.
the border.
Yes, sir. Rosemont and the border, did you say?
Yes, no question. Rosemont mine and the border security.
Well, one of these you're going to hate me for, so I'm going to answer that one first, and then I'll answer the border question so we can end on a positive note. When it comes to the Rosemont mine, now I have to preface this by saying, once again, the federal government, the Congress cannot do anything about it. So I give you my opinion on it because you're asking my opinion and I think it matters to you. I believe in the copper mine in the copper state with 10% unemployment. That's what I believe right now. I believe we can't afford the $2 billion. I believe with the $2 billion budget shortfall as a state, we can't afford to chase out $900 million in annual revenue as a state. I understand that is a divisive issue down here, but I told you I wasn't a politician, so there you go. But the truth of the matter with the Rosemont mine, whether I love it or hate it, I can't do anything about it. It's in the hands of the Forest Service right now. It's in their permitting process. If it gets through that, then it'll instantly be challenged in the courts because so many people hate it. If it gets through that, which will probably depend on the judge, then it's a go. If it doesn't, then it's not. That is the status of it. And the Rosemont people would tell you the same thing. Everyone would. So that's where I stand on Rosemont. So there. Now let's move past that and never talk about it again. Thank you for not throwing anything. You guys were lovely. Thank you. When it comes to the border, I don't know what the problem is. Janet Napolitano said it was security. Haven't you seen that? Oh, no, that's right. We have election year Gabrielle Giffords that just sent National Guard troops down to the border with no authority to apprehend illegal immigrants. So, build the double air border fence. Stop talking about it. Start solving the problem. They built it in San Diego. Violent crime dropped by 54%. They built it in Yuma. They went from 138,000 arrests in 1 year to 3,800 the next year. They have it in El Paso, and we're fine. What do we have? Our congressional representative defunded our border fence. You don't have your fence because of Gabrielle Giffords. It's already federally legislated. She took away the money. And as a result, 50% of the drugs that come into the United States come through southern Arizona. How's that working? The Border Patrol agents, they need helicopters, they need helicopter pilots, and they need to be on the border, and they want all of these things. They can get the job done. They want to get the job done. They've just been handicapped by the government. We give them the same rules of engagement that we give our troops in Afghanistan. We tie their hands behind their back. We send them to jail for shooting a drug smuggler. We send them a raise. But also employer sanctions. When we talk about the fence and getting people on the border, we already have the necessary interior laws in place. The I-9s, the E-Verify, things are already in place if we just have politicians with the guts to enforce it. And a lot of that comes to the sheriffs. There are good ones and there are bad ones down here. I think SB 1070 is fantastic. And I think it's amazing when the federal government sues the state of Arizona for asking for a driver's license. Yet it's legal, apparently, to wave a billy club at little old ladies as they try to vote in Philadelphia. They dropped that. Did that answer your question, sir?
Pretty close.
All right.
Jesse, we've seen one Republican politician after another who's gone to Washington, D.C. and decided that they're going to reach across the aisle. We don't see Democrats reaching across the aisle. So when you say that you're willing to fight, are you willing to go there and not reach across the aisle? Are you willing to go there and stand up for what you're telling us you believe in and not cave in to the Democrats?
You sound pretty fired up, man. You need to run for office. Now, the answer to your question is yes. I'm not going there. Look, I just want to go home and have dinner with my wife and wrestle with my boys. I want to go back to my job. I love my job. It's a great job. I like the private sector. I hate having to come here and ask people for money. I like talking politics, but I'm going to hit you all up for cash later, and I hate doing that. But the truth of the matter is, this country's in trouble. We are in very, very serious trouble.